Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm here with Lilac. And what first got you into music?
Um, well, I mean, I grew up singing for my church. I started writing songs and everything since I was like 6 years old, and I didn't know how to play instruments at the time, so I just like would write like little melodies in my head and like the lyrics, and then they would invite me up on the church stage, and I would just be this little girl singing a cappella songs that I wrote. Yeah, that's I guess how I started, and then I got into joining bands and singing a lot of karaoke, doing a lot of singing competitions
Yeah.
until I started Lilac.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of started out the same way, except I started out playing the top dog instrument, the recorder. And I actually made it to do an intermediate recorder, which most people have never heard of. But that's how I really got into just like musical involvement. I started playing the violin at a young age, and then singing with like the school chorus, like for the rest of my life in school. And then I played in a couple bands with just some friends from high school, really, until I joined Lilac right after I had started releasing my own music. And yeah, it was a lot of fun since then.
Yeah.
We're missing Kenny right now, our bassist, but you
Yeah.
guys can always hit up Lilac on our any of our social media pages, and we can totally answer for Kenny later. But we can go ahead and move on. Seth, would you like to go?
Yeah, so I'm the guitarist, and music's been a part of my life pretty early on. So my dad had a classical nylon string guitar growing up, and like he didn't play it much like later on, but like when I was younger, like when he was in college, he took a couple classes and he would play sometimes like when I was younger. And then from there, went into middle school bands, played the trumpet. So that got me really exposed to like actually performing music. And then doing those concerts, getting into marching band and performing at football games and things like that got me really into performing music, because then people were actually like really watching you. And then that's what really piqued my interest a lot. Started playing guitar actually more in middle school. That was about seventh grade, and then got more involved with the church youth band. So it was just from there. There was somebody that was really good at guitar, and he just always had his guitar with him in the youth group. So like I just kind of looked at him and said, okay, that's really cool. I want to do that. So that's where it kind of picked up from there. So really a lot of it was the church I went to and being in that youth band. And then from there, my interests and tastes evolved from there.
Nice.
Okay.
Ryan?
Well, I'm not sure where I got the idea originally, but somewhere in the 5th grade, I started asking my mom for a drum set. And then right before I started the 6th grade, which is also when I started band in middle school, she bought me a drum set, and I also started band playing percussion. So learned the basics there, and then yeah, I also played in a church group. I think that was a pretty good
Very
first
similar.
step. Yeah,
Good
first step into playing live.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm Cam. I was a weird dude in high school, so I didn't know how to talk to people. So I figured if I could play really good music, people would talk to you. It's not really how that works, it turns out. But it's also I really struggled to find people to play with, because nobody's motivated in high school, or just didn't have the right friends. And so I was like, all right, I'll just learn to do it all myself. And so that kind of led into production and electronic music and other things where you can do it all yourself. And now I do have people that can do it better than me, but oh yeah,
Okay.
in church.
It's all pretty similar though. I mean, a lot of church background and starting out young.
Yeah.
So what are your inspirations, both artists and otherwise? Like anything that inspires you to create?
I think for me, I've always loved like blues and like singers that could really like it was challenging to hit their notes, and it was challenging, like it showed off vocal talent. So any kind of like older like rock, like Chris Cornell, god, I loved his voice, and I loved like a lot of old blues and like Rat Pack era singers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like Etta James and Christina Aguilera, like who like could just belt their heart out. And then lyrically, I related a lot to like old school Linkin Park and Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon, and
Yeah.
just a lot of people who could take darkness and like the demons that they've faced in their personal lives and be able to turn them and make them beautiful. And that I really related to. And so lyrically speaking, yeah, I kind of, it's not that I like writing dark lyrics. I just, I guess, relate to it more, you know,
Yeah.
whenever you're fighting the voices in your head. So yeah, that's me.
Okay.
The same. I grew up listening to Eminem. Pretty much was my biggest influence to get into rap, and just really he was my first exposure to music. So that's exactly what you wanted about third grade. And I listened to a lot of Linkin Park and Rage Against the Machine. So coming into something like Lilac, that was a very helpful background to draw from. And I just always enjoyed music that you could feel the emotion from, and kind of that sounded a little bit different than what everything else was out there. So I definitely got that from Rage and Linkin Park, and feeling the intermix of styles and the emotion you can really feel there was really cool. So I've really made an effort to kind of bring that into the music we write now. So alongside that, you know, that's really what inspires a lot of what I write, is kind of like my life and the things I've gone through. And I use that to kind of tell stories and make the situations relatable.
Okay.
Similar thing with me. I listened to a lot of Linkin Park, specifically Hybrid, starting out.
Love Hybrid.
And then that was right about the time where I first started playing guitar. So that really had an impact on me. But from there, I actually started to get more into the heavier stuff for a little bit. And then from there, a little more progressive. So with like, I do like a lot of progressive metal. So I'd like to draw from that with well, it's like Tesseract and Periphery and bands like that. But I draw from that where I like to take a riff that could just be like a normal rock riff and turn it into something that's a little more unorthodox and interesting. So that's kind of how I approach like riff writing and things like that.
Okay.
All right. Another metalhead. Ryan, what about your influences?
I'd say some of my bigger influences, drum wise, would be like System of a Down, Slipknot, some Metallica, a lot of metal, and later on metalcore, stuff like For Today.
Okay.
Cam has the most different background, I think, that really pulls in an interesting influence.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, like a lot of music you listen to with people. I just did everything by myself when I was a kid. And so I didn't really want music. I couldn't really relate lyrically necessarily to things. And so I still don't really care about lyrics very much. I care about like music. Like when I first heard Tool and saw Tool like music videos and stuff, they have no connection with reality at all. It's like in a dream, you know, the rules are different and you just accept them. You don't like question them because they're consistent. And I was like, I like this because it's like completely separate from this reality. It's like I'm in a world that doesn't exist, but now it does. And it's just me there. And so it wasn't like I was pushing myself on it. It was just like, I was living a different person. So I like music. I don't necessarily care what the genre is, but that has that feeling that it is almost disconnected with reality as opposed to connected to it. So as far as I like a lot of synthwave stuff, just lately the purple music, that I guess like the new retro stuff where they take the 80s, like all the good stuff from the 80s, and then kind of combine it with Blade Runner and then have good production. But it's that thing of like, I like music that's really wide. Like a lot of rock music's like right here. I like music that's like kind of surrounds you in like a 3D way. And that feeling of like kind of unsettling, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting. So how did the band come together?
I think I can take this.
God called
So
us.
I was So I was at a mutual friend's like birthday party outside. Like COVID just happened, so like lockdown made sure that, you know, if you were gonna have any get-togethers, it had to be outside, limited numbers, whatever.
Mhm.
And this guy was at the party, and he and I started talking music. Apparently, he knew my old band, and he saw us, and so he liked my voice and stuff, and so we started talking music. And he was telling me about like some of the projects that he had, and later I had listened to it, and it was a lot of like electronic and like pop and like the synth wave kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like I respect you musically, you know, because we both
Just
draw
don't
from
like it.
inspirations. But I don't, but we wouldn't be able to write music together at all, you know, like it's
Yeah.
two different genres. Got it, you know. And then like later on he asked me to just like sing for like one of his verses or
I still
something.
don't know that song.
Yeah, he just like called me over to his house one time and was like, "Would you like to record your voice doing on this song for me?" And I said, "Sure." And we got to talking about the project, like if I was going to start a new band, what would it be like? And so I've told him that I've always loved Linkin Park. I grew up on Hybrid Theory, and I love like combining like elements of rap and rock, and just like trying to kind of break out of those norms.
Yeah.
And so I thought that, but I would want it to be more modern sounding. And I love Bring Me the Horizon, like what they were doing with like their big, impactful choruses and how catchy things were. And so I was like, what if Bring Me the Horizon and Linkin Park had a baby?
Mhm.
And then we had like a male rapper and female singer instead.
There we are.
And so Kim was like, that sounds cool. I would like to write it and like audition for your band. And I was like, I haven't even started the band yet. He was like, that's okay. Here's this new song that I wrote. And I listened to it and it was like insane and I loved it. And I was like, whoa, you wrote a metal breakdown. What? Like it was nothing like I had ever heard of any of his other songs. So I didn't know he could write rock and metal music. I had no idea that he was like just like this mad genius guy that could do whatever he wants. And so I was like, all right, I guess we're starting a new band. I was like, I better get on finding the other members.
Yeah.
I created Facebook ads and Craigslist ads and band mix ads. Found Oscar on Craigslist, Seth on band mix, and then Kenny and Ryan I knew through like mutual music friends in like the Raleigh community. So
Mhm.
yay. That's how we were created.
Okay. So which of your songs that you've written means the most to you and why?
Ooh,
You go.
that's a good, yeah. So for me, I think it really is the one we're going to release as our first single, and the one we just made the music video for, Perfect Drug. And I think that was just because while we were writing it, there was a lot of back and forth we were going through and concepts we brought into this song that we had for another song that didn't work out. But when we kind of brought it together for this one, it just clicked. And it really took myself through a process of self-reflection, kind of on my past and what I've done to, you know, how I've been with people and how I've treated people, and made me look at myself and maybe how I treat people now. So it's definitely that self-reflexive process that really meant a lot to me about this song, and kind of forced me to look at myself and really kind of take myself to being a different person on top of that. And what was really cool about it is just kind of where we were with the song and the style of it and our intention for the sound of the band. Really helped me push my confidence in myself and in our group really further. So this song kind of pushed me in a lot of different ways. So it really holds a lot of meaning for me, and I can only speak for myself, but I love it, and it's one of my favorite songs that we've put together as the band. So yeah, so it definitely holds a special place for me.
Okay.
As for me, I do relate a lot with Perfect Drug. Just from my standpoint, I wrote about like if you've ever been through heartbreak and you're in that feeling of like numbness, like you can't move on just yet, you know? So like it's more like, it's not that you're this cold-hearted being, it's just like you're not emotionally ready to for love again. And it's kind of breaking out of that icy veins and I'm all you get kind of feeling, to like then realizing that like I can't trust myself around, you know, other people right now. Like I might just be like this like ghost within my shell, like alone inside my hell kind of thing. Like now I'm just having to fight my own demons right now. And so that's, yeah, we wrote about that concept and I do relate to that. But I think my favorite that I relate to is like the song Into Nothing. So I for a really long period of my life, I had this like overwhelmingly like empty, like numb feeling. And it was like I had this hole and I didn't know how to fill it. And I couldn't love people the way that they loved me. And it's just, you know, when you've been through so much traumatic experiences and stuff, sometimes you just become like empty. And so Into Nothing is about like when you're so numb, you have to start like seeking like these dangerous highs to kind of like feel something, anything. And that could be like not necessarily drugs, it could be like, you know, cliff diving or like, you know, lighting things on fire. I don't know, like, but then we took that story and we took that concept and we just made it even more dangerous, you know, like, you know, people who go after like, you know, robbing banks and stabbing people and, you know, just like shit like that. And so, but then eventually those highs only go so far. You felt something, but now you're numb again. And now that same thing is not helping. It's not scratching that itch. And so now you're finding more and more dangerous things and you're just hitting it more and you're like upping it a notch, up and up a notch. And then before you know it, you might be dead beside a freaking bridge one day, you know, like just like you went too far. And so that's what I wrote Into Nothing about, just that falling into
Amazing. Very relatable.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the filming and the concept for the upcoming video for Perfect Drug, which I'm excited about, just seeing the teaser. It looks amazing. So what can you safely share about the concept and the filming?
I mean, we're trying to break out as new artists, like showing the fact that we are combining rock and rap. And so I knew that I thought it would be fun for us to combine hip hop elements as well as rock elements throughout the video. But I think we had just a lot of fun thinking of like there's 8 different scenes, 12 hours, like smashed into 12 hours. And so it was like constant, like it keeps your attention and it just keeps that energy up and keeps that energy up. And just you're constantly being this larger than life perfect drug in every way, in every scene. And then, yeah, just singing about that.
Yeah, I think definitely the energy, and like Elise was saying, there was a lot we did in a lot of hours in one day. But you know, we worked and we're running all around, and I think there's an energy and an electricity in the air that day that you can definitely feel coming through in the video. And Scott Hansen, the director of that video with Digital Thunderdome, did an amazing job. The crew was absolutely amazing to work with, so professional, and it was so cool to watch everybody work and like all the call outs for everything they were doing. It was it was a new experience for a lot of us. So it was really cool to just be in that environment and kind of live in that moment of, you know, we're here filming a music video and it sounds amazing, and you know, we're working with professionals of the industry. So there's definitely that energy and like electricity, like I said, that really comes through in the video. And I think we all super got into it. We were all super high energy all day. Towards the end, it got a little bit colder for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. So do you want to get into that?
Sure, you can tell that.
Yeah. So like, all right, we waited until it was dark before we started doing the pyro rig. And so the pyro rig is shooting these sparks behind us and, you know, we're headbanging and everything. But the last scene that we have to do is like this pool of water, and Oscar and I are going to lay ear to ear while we both sing this chorus up at the camera that's above us, right? But this pool has been sitting there all day long, and just waiting for this last scene. We'll get wet, and then we won't have to, redo our makeup and
It's like
dry our hair.
48 degrees.
Yeah.
It's like really cold, and the wind is even worse. I think the wind made it feel like 35.
And we shot the
People-
shot at midnight.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, it's freezing. There are all the crew is like wearing winter coats, and like you could see their breath like in front of them.
Yeah.
And Oscar and I are just like beating on our chests and just trying to hype ourselves up to get in this freezing cold pool. And then we just did it. We got in the water, and he said that we would get like hypothermia if we did the whole song. So he started it right before the bridge, and so poor Oscar, he doesn't sing in the bridge. That's just me. So he doesn't even have like the distraction of like, singing along to the words or anything. So I'm just like, this is the only thing keeping me warm and distracted. This is the only because I'm singing along.
None of that.
But he's just like,
None of that.
like just trying not to shiver in the camera. Yeah, super good.
Yeah, it was a super cool experience all around, and
Literally
definitely
super cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. Yeah. I love that the members like were saying that like this is like a couple of them said that I love this song because they've listened to it all day long, and they're not tired of it, which is insane because you've listened to it over and over and over for 12 hours. But one guy was saying it's his new favorite song and he can't wait for it to release. So that was really cool that the crew liked it as much as we did, and so you could see it.
So the pool experience, that was at the West Valley Studios?
No, that was at we went to Conyers, Georgia to record the video. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the actual like EP itself, we went to West Valley Studios.
Right.
That's where we recorded the actual music.
That was out in LA.
Yeah.
When are those coming out? The video and the single?
So the music video and the first single release, Perfect Drug, is going to be released on March 24th of 2022.
That's
so just a
soon.
couple more weeks. Very
Yeah.
soon. Once we drop the first single, then we'll start shooting our second video and get ready for the
Ooh.
second drop. And then we'll release the entire thing, all of it, after the second single.
Okay. So what has been your favorite live show so far? I know you've had some big names to open up for. So what's been your favorite?
So I think it sounds like we got a lot of points of view. For me, it was, and we've definitely had the opportunity to play with some big names, so that's been really cool.
Mhm.
But for me, it was a smaller venue we played at called GPAS in Durham.
Mhm.
It was our headlining show, and what was really cool and special about it to me was that it was a lot more intimate.
Mhm.
We were able to have a lot of our close friends, family, loved ones able to show up and just have a really great time. And we played with some really great local bands, and we blew out the windows and of the place. So it was really cool to be, just surrounded by a group of people who, were there because they support what we're doing. They love us, and, they're just there for us 110%. So we really got into it with the crowd, and it was just a really, really warm night.
I don't know about you guys, but I liked the freaking show we just did. Yeah, okay. So Friday, just like this past Friday, March 4th? Yeah, March 4th. We played with Puddle of Mud in Jacksonville, North Carolina at Hooligans. And there was over like 630 people in this crowd. It was insane. People tried to like crowd surf from the back. They were all like jumping with us and like, moving their arms and everything. Like the energy of the crowd was just wild. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So super fun. Yeah, it was a great show.
That sounds like a good one. Does anyone else want to answer that one too?
You guys all agree?
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
I'm the odd man now.
He's the only
so-
odd man.
Yeah.
I'm too sentimental.
My phone just shut off. Here we go. So what are some national artists that you'd love to play with? And then also some local bands you'd love to play with that you haven't played with yet?
I am obsessed with Bad Flower and Ice Nine Kills right now. Like I have them on repeat, like constantly. I would love to play with them. Yeah, I would absolutely love to play with Bad Flower. And we were talking with 3 Days Grace and Theory of a Dead Man back when we were out in California, and they were
Mhm.
talking about possibly getting us on some shows with them, and I would kill to play with them too. They were
Yeah.
such great guys. It like we Howard Benson had like a pool party after we were done with our recording our music, and so just to meet those guys and just be just down to earth and have a conversation about, playing music together, I would love to play with them.
Yeah.
Any of you guys want to add any others? No.
No, I think that was pretty good. That was a pretty good list.
What do you think sets your music apart? So I guess we've kind of addressed this, the kind of a modern rap and rock and female vocalist, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Cam should maybe answer this one.
Yeah.
He's the mad genius who creates all the instrumentals.
all right.
I don't know if you guys feel this way, but the deeper we've gotten into the music industry, the more disappointed I've been. Just to see how much.
Stop.
No, really though. Like to see how much music is like product first, art last.
Mm.
And like most people are making something to sell, which you can enjoy it. It can be like a good thing, but like I don't know. Maybe as a kid, I thought people like were doing this, like pouring their heart into it, and they got like rich and famous. I think most people are like at this point are starting rich and famous, and if there's space for art, they put it there, kind of thing. Which I don't know, like really bummed me out. And so what we try to do is have that synergy of, because you can make something that's very creative, but like setting your car on fire and putting it through the distortion pedal is pretty creative, but it's not very accessible. It might be an authentic representation of yourself, but it doesn't really necessarily connect with people. And working with like me and Elise, like I go too far, like trying to write stuff that's like too unique. And her focus is always on accessibility. So there's like conflict there, but it's like a healthy thing. So I like to put I call them brushstrokes. It's not like there's no one brushstroke in a painting that makes it work. It's that like layers of like thousands and thousands. There's no one workout that makes you fit, Yeah. And then kind of taking that approach of, even if the details aren't really noticed and you're not like focused on them or they're kind of hidden, I still want to put them there. So all the things that are like hidden behind it. So like even when I do like little we're talk to my friends or something, and I'll solo some of the tracks because I have all of them. They're like, whoa, I didn't know that was in there. I was like, no, I think that's what you should do. Even just as an artist, I think it's your responsibility to put that stuff there, even if like 99% of people don't see it.
They will
I think
eventually.
like we do a lot of the creativity like in our lyric writing, like the lyrics that we write are very creative or artistic, but when it comes to like vocal melodies, like when I write vocal melodies, I try to make them catchy, and so like if some of his things are like too out of the box, like it might not, I might not be able to write a catchy melody over that, so it's like finding a good way to combine our strengths and make something that is beautiful and artistic and creative and different, so that it doesn't just sound like a normal radio hit, like we want it to make us unique, but at the same time still be like get in people's heads, and people will sing along to it, and they're going to think about it when later on when they're in the shower and washing dishes and stuff. And so
shower washing.
and washing dishes, not at the same time.
And I think what's really cool about our sound as well is, as many similarities as we do have, we also come from very diverse backgrounds, and just that very diverse styles that we've all played in and listened to growing up. And it's been really cool to kind of watch a place where all that like melds together and doesn't necessarily melt together, but like combines in like new ways and fights against each other and breaks and like gets put back together and breaks again, and then we spend hours on it and it's worth nothing, but it's the process that kind of gets us closer to like where we're supposed to be, kind of like what Cam was saying about the brush strokes. I think that was a really good analogy. So yeah, that's been really cool to watch as I've been a part of this band.
Yeah, if you like hidden eggs, like the hidden
Easter
eggs
eggs,
and video games and stuff, Cam will take like me breathing out, right? And then he'll like reverse it where now it sounds like I'm breathing in. And then he'll like put it through like a bunch of compression and like crazy like stuff with his computer. And then he'll like unreverse it. And it just sounds like just insane. Like just there's a lot of like hidden eggs
Like a little musical Easter bunny.
everywhere. Yeah, yeah. Hidden Easter eggs everywhere in our songs that you guys
Yeah.
can find.
That's interesting. And as you develop this deep fan base, people are going to get really into it and they'll be like, I found one. Guys,
Yeah.
check this
Yeah.
And then
out.
they can message Cam and be like, is this one?
Yeah. Is this it? Did I find it? What do I win?
Yeah.
Person's cell phone number and personal email.
Oh,
Let me talk to you.
And then the last one I have is, I think we've addressed this already. After Perfect Drug is released, what will you work on next? But you said your next video, right?
Yeah, I think we'll do the next music video shoot. We'll release the second single. Then we'll do a third music video with the actual EP drop.
Mhm.
But all throughout that, we really need to just start writing, buckle down on writing a new album and everything, because I just want to keep pushing new content. Media nowadays, like social media is, like it's so fast. And
Yeah.
with everybody being in the pandemic, I feel like we just need to constantly push more and more content and just stay engaged with our viewers and our listeners, and just write as much as possible.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited for the single and the video.
Good. I hope you like the teaser that we released.
I love the teaser. Yeah.
Awesome.
The costumes are insane. I love it.
Yeah. I think my favorite costume for me was this woman named she's Jane's Corsets on Etsy. I hit her up and I just asked her if she would make me like a custom like icicle corset, and I tried to find icicle crowns that would match, but it none of them matched the same. So I asked her to make me like this like giant headdress that would match perfectly, and she did it. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
insane.
I'll have to link that below and people can check her out.
Yeah.
Shout out Jane's Corset.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. This was fun.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
so
We
much.
really
Closing messages for your fans.
stick around March 24th. We're going to release Perfect Drug. Let us know what you guys think. Comment, subscribe, and
Share it.
yeah, share
Yeah.
it. And and hit us up about like a town near you, and I'll try to get you guys on the tour. And yeah, let's rock out. Let's do this.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.